FX Nation, what's up guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. And in this video guys, what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead, I'm gonna show you trading the London session. So I get asked a lot of questions about London. How do I trade it? How do I look at it? Things of that nature. So I'm gonna show you me trading the London session. And essentially, I just opened the mic and just started talking to myself about things that are going on in my head so you guys can see and hear my thoughts as I'm looking at charts and as price action is literally playing out. So I hope that this brings you a lot of value. Guys, if you like this kind of content, if you want to see more of this kind of content, please make sure that you like the video, leave a comment below in the video. That way I know that you enjoy viewing this type of content. Now, this video, particularly because obviously it's trading a whole London session, it's going to be long. So obviously be aware of that. It's going to be long. I try to make it as short as possible, but honestly, like, I did a lot of talking, so you can really get to see what I'm thinking about at every single individual pair that I'm looking at. So I hope you enjoy the video, guys. Thank you so much, and let's get right into trading the London session. What I'm looking at here on the London session is I'm looking at Euro AUD, and I'm looking at Euro NZD. I'm looking to see if they both get a reaction here at this particular point. Ideally, I'm looking because you can see all it basically did was retrace this entire move. So I'm really looking to see if we can get potentially a second leg here. Or this could be a first leg right now. But I'm thinking right now this could be the first leg, this could be the second leg, as market makers want to push price down and get more orders, more sell orders, so they could obviously, you know, go up and do more buying. Right now, I'm looking for buys only because we're coming off of peak formation low. So that's why I'm looking for buys. I'm looking for type 1 setup specifically for obvious reasons on Euro NZD and Euro AUD. So both look very similar, both look very promising for those type of setups. And so I'm counting as it is right now, this could be the first leg and this could be the second leg, hopefully producing star patterns on both. So we'll just have to see, you know, how it develops and see what happens or whatnot in the next 2 minutes or so. Other NZD USD and AUD USD, I know they're doing very similar moves. We're actually waiting to see if we can get a type 1 pattern that's pinning to the 200 EMA here. This is starting to develop quite nicely, and so is this one here. We just don't have the pinning to the 200 like we do on NZD, but you can see clearly first leg here, and then we have plenty of legs here. So this one specifically, as long as this candle in the next 5-6 minutes closes below the 13 EMA, since we don't have a second leg pattern, we would wait for a pullback on the next candle to see if we can get a possible entry on this particular trade. So we didn't get a star pattern here on the second leg, so again, we just continue to wait. We continue to wait. There's no rush on this. We continue to wait for different setups to develop. This type 2 pattern developed quite nicely on Euro USD. you could see we're looking for sells anyways because we're coming off a peak formation high, like I talked about in the midweek review. We actually added a failed reset and a new peak formation high here because that's what it did essentially. So still looking for sells. And so, guys, the charts for me, every day I update my charts because obviously with new data comes new adjustments that I need to make. And so this is not, my charts aren't adjusted by algorithmic, robots or anything like that. This is literally me adjusting the charts every single day, and I share these the charts on FXN Plus every single day. They're updated, so you get the best available updates to my charts right before the London session opens. So the trade itself would be like this, and you literally would be taking profit right now. The entry on this would be this pullback on this candle, again pinning to the 50. First leg is here, second leg is right here. We don't get a second leg pattern, but we do get a second leg that closes below the 13. There's the pullback candle. That anywhere in this pullback is your entry, and then boom, you just hit take profit. Still got another minute 50 seconds on NZD USD. Again, we don't have a second leg pattern here. I believe that this is the first leg, and this would be the second leg. Others might see this as the first leg and this as the second leg. If you guys see that, then essentially this right here would be a star pattern. So a lot of traders are going to see it different ways. So here's one pattern that traders might see, like that, right? You might see it like that, and if you see it like that, that's cool. Your entry would be on this candle right here, this pullback candle. All right, so anywhere there, and you would have already been in the trade. If you didn't see that as this as the first leg, this is the second leg, then you're seeing this as the first leg, and the second leg still being formed right now, essentially. So another like 43 seconds, and then you can see whether or not you get a pullback or not. So let's say you get a pullback here to the middle, I don't know, the middle of the candle here. You can put in a sell limit, and then that could be easily your trade setup. There, you're just waiting for your specific entry. You know what I mean? If you don't like that, you can literally go in manually. I mean, it's up to you. But if you want to get your specific, entry that you want, then this is probably going to be the way to go. You go 15 pips stop loss, and then 2 to 1 would be like this, and that would be the trade setup. The disadvantage, not really disadvantage, but the bad part about doing this, putting a sell limit order, is what if it doesn't go up and hit it, and still the move happens how you predicted it would happen. So that's the bad about using a sell limit order. Okay, so just keep that in mind. That if you're going to be pissed off that you missed it by a half a pip or whatever the case may be, then maybe sell limit orders aren't going to be for you, and you want to do more of a market order. Okay. Same thing on this AUD. You could have seen it with the first leg being here, second leg being this railroad track, and this candle here. The pullback on that candle would have been your entry. Anywhere on this candle here would have been a good pullback for you on this. So, it could be something like this. A 2 to 1 would be something like that as your order. If not, if you're doing again like what I just did there, which was put in like a sell limit order. There's your sell order there, and you got a 2 to 1 risk reward ratio. It's kind of basically like this. like this NZD USD pair that you just went into. See what happens on EuroCAD here while this is playing out. Yep, there's your third leg. So look, here's the third leg right here building right now. So this third leg would have taken you out of that trade, right? So if you get taken out of the trade, here's a perfect example of what happens to a lot of traders is they get taken out, barely taken out, and then the move hopefully will end up going in the direction anyways, right? They're like, damn it, I got taken out and it still went up in my direction anyways. It could be very, very frustrating for those type of traders, right? So here's what you do. As long as the low holds, then the trade itself is still valid. It was just the wrong timing. So what you're waiting for essentially is like a second opportunity. So let's say in this scenario that if this ends up being in the next 10 minutes or whatever, this ends up being a railroad track. Okay, and then you get a slight pullback on the next candle. That next candle on the pullback would be your entry. Okay, so we're going to keep an eye on this and see what happens. See if we can get a pull. See if this can, number one, finish as a railroad track. Number two, see if we can get a pullback on the next candle. Because if this ends up being a railroad track here, you could see that we're going to be risking close to 20 pips almost. Yeah, about 21 pips. So we really want this to be more like this. Okay, we want it to be something like that. We don't want to enter now because this candle's still live. So we don't know if this is going to actually be a railroad track or not. Okay, because what if we enter and this ends up not being a railroad track and it drops? Like completely just continues to go down. You know? You don't want to put yourself in that situation and then now lose 2 times on the same trade setup. You at least want to have some confirmation that this area is going to hold the low of the day, so you can get back into it on the next candle. And then honestly, the rest is just waiting. That's the most agonizing thing sometimes. It's just waiting and not doing anything. If you're the type of person that gets all nervous and stuff whenever you put in a trade, you should probably, as soon as you put in a trade, should probably just close the laptop or leave the room, go do something else, and come back in an hour and see how it's played out after an hour or so. So we got another about 2 minutes or so left on this candle. If this ends up being a railroad track, then probably you can get a good entry somewhere around here. And you can put maybe like, let's say a buy. It will look like something like that, and then go from there. But again, it's got to end as a railroad track, and then you got to have a pullback. Let's see if it did end up being a railroad track, which is good. Now let's see, can you get a pullback or not? And again, this is where if you do buy limit orders and it doesn't pull back to your area, then you kind of missed out on the trade. You can't be upset if you missed out on the trade or not. 3, 4, 5. This is pretty cool right here. You're getting a railroad track here. I can assume that this potentially then is the first leg. You got 3, 4, 5 candles in between the first and second leg. What I want to see though is I want to see a move that comes out of this 4, 5 candle structure. So a move basically that takes out this right here. A candle that breaks out from that box would be the ideal scenario that I'd want to see. If you're brave, what you could do is put in a buy stop here. You could do something like that. And there you go, it got you into the trade. The big concern that I have is that you still got 11 minutes left on the candle. So it's an easy way. It's an easy way for them to take you out if they wanted to. So that's a concern that I would have. But let's see what happens. Another concern that I would have just by looking at this now that I just noticed this is that all the EMAs are now looks like they're all reversing essentially. You know, you got the 50, 200, 800. They're all going to be above price, meaning that on the 4-hour time frame, the 50 is now, you know, going to be above price as well. So it could be a good indication that this might be a reversal of a trend here. And if that's the case, this would end up being like a reset. You know, this right here would end up being a reset because we don't have enough, obviously nowhere near 3 times ADR here. So keep that in mind. Cannot be scared. You have to trust the process. Trust your back testing, trust your plan, trust your trading plan. I cannot stress it enough. Now, with all these trades happening right now, I'm not interested in looking at any other setups. Now it's all about literally just managing the trades. That's it. I'm not interested in looking at any other setups. I'm just only interested in now and literally just managing the trade setups. That's it. Okay. So what I'm looking at now is seeing exactly where the entry was. Let me get this other one out here. Seeing exactly where the entry was, and then seeing visually, I like to see it on this here, what it looks like. 2 to 1 there. So something like this. Now, what I would like to do is I like to mark off where I see 20 pips profit at from my entry. So somewhere around right here is 20 pips. I'm going to mark that because if I get down there, I definitely want to move my stop loss down and protect you know, profits. Same thing here is go up to 20 pips. It's around that area there. And that's where I'm looking to reduce my risk. At this point, I don't even want to look at these trades, honestly. I don't want to look at the trades or anything like that. So we'll come back to this once these, you know, once these trades have played out. I think the important part that I wanted you guys to see is essentially how I take the trades and what my thought process is on these pairs as things are literally happening, you know, minute by minute, second by second, so you can see what my brain is thinking when I'm looking at all these pairs. All right, but I'm going to go ahead and we'll talk about the trades, whether they end up being losers, winners, or anything happens. I'll update you guys when that happens. So let this play out. All right, guys. So you can see that EuroCAD pushing. Obviously, we want to move all this up to protect some profits. So we'll do that. Let's mark down about 20 pips is right where price action is. So I'm just going to move it up in profit. So no matter what, it's not a loss, which is the most important thing. that we don't take a loss on this. So just to make sure that it's in the right place. Yeah, it is. So we'll leave it at that, and we'll let it run. This one here still hasn't done anything, moved up or down. So again, we're just going to leave that one alone. Still nothing here, still working. Not going to touch these two trades at all. So just going to leave it and let them do what they do. But just want to make sure that we update you on that one. All right, guys, so it looks like EuroCAD closed out, which is fine. We didn't lose a trade, but we didn't get all the profit, obviously, but we still won something. And yeah, it wasn't a loss. So we'll keep watching the rest and see what happens. All right, so just got taken out on Euro AUD for a loss. What is it? A 12 pip loss, which is fine. Now, I'm curious to see whether or not this actually comes back and gives us a railroad track and basically creates this as being a first leg and then this possibly a second leg. I don't know. We'll see when this candle ends and the next one begins. But that's still a possibility, right? If market makers are down here stop hunting, that we could see what essentially happened on EuroCAD, right, where it had another leg to it, play out also on Euro AUD. So we'll keep an eye on it, just because we've been following it the whole time we were just in a trade on it, just to see what happens, and then we'll go from there. But right now we still got two other trades going: the NZD USD and AUD USD. So far, one loss, one win, and then two more still actively on display. All right, guys. So typically right now we're 6 candles in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 candles in. So after this candle, if you're not in significant profit, I would be around time to essentially close out of the trade and make it like a break-even trade. So I just want to point this out so you understand what my plan is generally after 6 candles. If I'm not in substantial profit, meaning 10, 15 pips in profit, then essentially I just close out of the trade, and whether I'm in profit or not doesn't matter. So in this particular case, I want you guys to just realize that. But I'm going to let it run just so you can see what happens. But just know that at this point, after this candle is over with in the next 10 minutes, if I don't get a significant move on this candle, then I would be essentially, taking a small loss, breaking even on it, or taking whatever profit I could, and then just letting it go. And so we're still watching this Euro AUD pair right now because I'm really interested to see. It looks like we had a nice little stop hunt here with this candle. So if that is the case, then we still may get a second opportunity. If this is the first leg, this is the second leg. Let's just say this gives us a star pattern. We could get a second opportunity here at an entry. You could see here on the TDI, we're definitely getting some divergence here on the TDIs. We're going lower on price action, but higher on the TDI. So we do have divergence there already showing up as well. So those are all great signs, but we still need a good candle right here. Preferably, if we can get a big fat candle like this one to come back up and match it, that would be a star pattern. That would give you another entry, and this would truly be a stop hunt. If you were thinking about getting into this trade just right now, I mean, essentially you're going in blind is what you're doing. You have no form of confirmation. You just see that it's a stop hunt, but you don't. The next candle really is what you need to help confirm whether or not that's a stop hunt or not, because you need this to be a star pattern. All right, guys. So we didn't get this to be a star pattern at all. So to me, at this point, I wouldn't even mess with this. I would leave it alone and just focus in on these two pairs that are going on right now. Again, on some of these pairs, I would have already been, out of the trade and done for the day, really, because we're already past 7 o'clock and we have news upcoming, the CPI news upcoming. So that's another reason as well. But you could see why I would get out after 6 candles because of this. Because I'm turning basically a break-even trade into a losing trade. Okay, I'm going to let it run just so we could learn from it. But I want you guys to understand this, of why the rules are set in place for a reason. What I would consider 2 break-even trades, even though one AUD USD was in profit, I would still consider that, to me at least, break-even because it was right there. So you have 2 break-even trades, another win here, and then just 1 loss on Euro AUD. And then, so depending on the pairs that you trade would depend solely on what kind of a day you're going to have. If you trade Euro USD, you would have had a great day because that would have been a great trade, right? If you trade Euro CAD, you would have had a good day. If you've caught the first this move here, you would have been in profit, 20 pips or whatever, and you would have gotten out. Pound USD, if you trade that, you would have had a great day. Again, good move, good type 3 setup. Pound CAD, another good trade there on a type 2 buy. If you trade gold, phenomenal trade on gold, as you could see, a type 3 there that we talked about. So, I mean, it just honestly depends on the pair that you trade, what pairs you follow, what pairs you trade, whether or not you have a good day. Somebody might have an absolute horrible day if they trade, pound NZD, pound AUD, while another person who trades pound USD and Euro USD might have a great day. So the pairs that you trade will ultimately, determine the type of day that you're going to have. So as you saw, this is 15 pairs here that you can go into and follow. But I mean, that's a lot of pairs to try to keep track of. As you saw from, the entirety of this video, once you focus in on a couple pairs, you kind of stick with those pairs and then you move forward. So if you're only following 5 pairs, then that makes it very manageable for you to follow. All right, guys, so I hope that watching that video, you got some value from it. You can see what I'm thinking about literally in real time, what's going on in my head as I'm looking at these pairs, and what possible outcomes I'm looking for. Again, if you like this type of content, let me know in the comments. Please like and share the video and subscribe to the channel, guys. Thank you so much and have a great rest of your week. Guys, if you need any more help, come join us in our next mentoring class. You see the date that is listed there. That is when our next mentoring class is. Seats are limited to only 30 people at a time, and what you get from it is unbelievable value. So first of all, it is a lifetime membership. One payment, lifetime membership. You'll have access to our 12-week program. You'll get weekly homework, weekly tests, backtesting training. Every Sunday, we do live group sessions where we answer every and all of your questions. And we also do the weekly analysis on that specific day as well. Once you graduate and pass the 12-week course, you'll get access to the advanced course. You'll get access to the blueprint recordings. You'll get custom trading journals, a trading plan template that you can use. You'll get access to our mentoring group chat where you can chat with other students. Guys, we're over about 100 hours of group session videos that you'll have access to from the last 2 years. Over 100 hours of content. And again, lifetime access to this program and, most importantly, any other program that I come out with. Okay? So you're not only paying for this, but you're paying for anything in the future that I ever come out with. Guys, take advantage of it, and we'll see you in the next class.